Hey guys, Footy Focus Podcast, episode 8, recording on Tuesday, 14 July, the first recording of the second lockdown here.
Yep. Hi, Shanika. I'm at home, so we're doing this, in our own homes through Skype. So hopefully the audio quality is better this time than the first time around.
I've got I know we can't see this, but I've got a mirror behind me, and Shahan's got a Sri Lankan cricket hat and a ruse scarf, I think that is. So,
Yeah,
it's a good hat. So,
our room's decked out in Sri Lanka and kangaroos merchandise.
yeah.
I've got a kangaroos esky thing here, as you can see.
Esky.
Yeah, my sister got it for my birthday.
Do you use that when you're watching the last 4 matches?
I haven't used it yet. I only get it out when we win. So
okay. So hopefully this week then.
Yeah, it's a cooler bag. Yeah, that's what it is.
Do you want to talk about the hub life? We're going to move on to the game reviews first.
Yeah, we'll do the reviews quickly. So we might start off with the Fremantle getting over St Kilda. I think we previewed this game last week, so this was it was a pretty good game in the end. It was probably the most interesting of the round because there were some sluggish games this round.
Right.
A lot of low scoring, which seems to be pretty cool these days. And
you picked the correct team too. I didn't rate your tip last week, so you can take some credit for that one.
Yeah. So you went for Saints, and it looked like the Saints after the first quarter. They kicked, I think, 6 or 7 goals, and Freo got one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But after that, the game just changed. So Fremantle, was able to put pressure on the St Kilda defense, who otherwise weren't tested. And guys like in the first quarter, guys like Butler, Jones, Billings, Embry were kicking goals.
Yeah.
And Freo's defense sort of got on top, and so did their midfield. Five played more forward.
Yeah. So it was 15 and 2 goals in the first half, and then those last 2 centre clearances, he wasn't in there, and then obviously Walters was in there, but now he's in some doubt. So I think he must have been a bit injured. That's come out today anyway.
Yeah, that's what the commentators were saying as well. So I think he even admitted his hamstring. Yeah, come out as good. But it was good to see a new midfield in there. Like Walters, like you said, Brayshaw continues his good recent form, and even guys like Caleb Sarong in the second quarter, second half, he had about 4 clearances. It's pretty impressive for a first-year player.
You think Brayshaw's turned the corner?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I reckon sometimes you need to give these young players more responsibility. I think, like in 2012 when Essendon got suspended. Oh no, it was 2016. Like Merritt, he really stood up and able to become an elite midfielder. So guys like Brayshaw, Aish, Chera, you need to give these guys a go. So. And another guy that stood up was Lachlan Schultz.
Schultz, the match winner.
Yeah, he kicked the match winner up. But every time I see Freo play, he seems to get better and better every week. So
was he manned up? Was he manned up on Hill?
Hill, I don't know. He was. I saw some of behind the goals vision. I think on the footy shows, and I think. He was just behind the pack, and he was able to go on the end of it. How do you think Brad Hill's going?
Yeah, so you've got the stats here. So 8 kicks, 3 handballs at 63%. So I thought the first probably 4 or 5 weeks he was really good. He was that point of difference. But he's had the last 2 weeks have been really quiet. So for the pay packet he's on, he's going to cop some scrutiny, and probably well deserved too, because he's. The media's kind of talked him up at the start of the year, but he's struggled the last couple of weeks.
Out of all the recruits, he was the marquee recruit. So he's not, and he's probably performed the worst out of all of them. So he needs to improve, because he's essentially their barometers.
Yeah.
So if he plays well, let's think Yoda will play well.
How about the most controversial, I guess, incident of the match, Ben Long?
Yeah, that was uncharacteristic because I don't think he's that type of player, but he was sort of. I guess you can't do what he did in today's game. Go for the player and not the ball. So he made hit Darcy's head, and Darcy got concussed, I think. So he got 3 weeks. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I thought it was minimum 3. I think if it was probably a 22-round season, it's probably 4. Because you've taken the guy out for a match, and you ran past the ball. There was no intent to collect the ball at all. So it's probably fair enough. We did talk him up last week too, so we probably put the Mickey on.
He's one of our favourite players. I would say, one of our boys. So now hopefully he comes back and has a good end of the year. And another guy I want to talk a bit about is Matt Taberner. How do you think he's been going?
Yeah, like against Port, he was probably the best player in the first quarter, but he went quiet after that. So he was more consistent during the match this time.
Yeah, he was good. He's having a good year. I think he had a good start to last year, and he didn't play that much footy. I don't think he's played more than 17 games in about 5 years or something. So he won't get that this year. So he won't get more than that this year. But
how many matches has he played so far?
He's played all of them, I think.
No, he's in for his career. He wouldn't have played 10, surely.
73. He's played 73. And, he's. Bigger guys take a bit longer to develop, but he's a little bit old. He's like 27 or something. But no, I think he's having a good year so far. So should continue, especially without Hogan.
Yeah, you think he's probably perfectly suited to that number 2 tall, or you think his career is going to keep trending upwards when Hogan comes back, hopefully? Hogan will be the number 1.
Yeah, Hogan will take the best defender, and could take number 2, and I think he's tall enough to play ruck as well. So.
Yeah.
It's 198 centimeters. Okay. So it was a good win to Freo. They had 2 early injuries as well with Hayden Young and Sean Darcy off. Saints, they have done this a couple of times where they've had a good first quarter or half and then got rolled. But a bit of work to do.
Yeah, they probably need another game plan when I guess teams try and slow them down. Doesn't look like they have a plan B or C at the moment, like some of the better teams.
Yeah, that and it could be they do have a few youngsters. Not too young, but they do have a couple of them in there. So maybe they're just a bit.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about Melbourne's defeat over Gold Coast?
Yeah, so that was probably one of the better games of round 2. I actually caught half of that. I think you caught more of it, so I'll let you take over in a second. I
didn't actually because the Kangaroos game was on.
Your review looks like you've watched all of it. So, no, it was an even game for the most part. I think D's kicked away in the end. Looked at one stage like Gold Coast were going to win. I was following the scores and I thought, it would be a match Gold Coast would win. Probably would have been the end of the D season if they did lose. Obviously, Max Gons, nearly best on ground again. He's just dominating at the moment. It'd be good if he had some support, I guess, on a more consistent basis.
So criticism for Demons have been their ball use.
Yes.
How do you think the midfield went this time around?
Yeah, so there was a good passage. Saw a stoppage. I think it was maybe 3 or 4 minutes left. Clayton Avola picked up the ball and instead of bombing away like he normally did, like he had a bad possession against Richmond the other week when the game was on the line, he lowered his eyes and hit Petrarca. So I thought that was good progress from him, especially. Petrarca probably went back a bit. He didn't really use the ball that well, but you can probably forgive him because he's probably been the best player for the D's apart from Gone. Viney used the ball better as well, I thought, as well. But, you've got to keep backing it up, though. 1 week's not going to do it. I mean, I think the stat last week, they've won 6 out of 26 games since they beat Bulldogs and Hawks back-to-back in the finals, which we went to one of those games. No, we didn't. We watched one of those games.
We watched some of the pub. So they'll have to back it up this week against Hawthorn, who are going to put up a fight. They're not going to go down easy. Sam Wiedemann's had a a maligned career, I suppose, today.
Yeah.
He played his first game and he kicked a couple of important goals. So that's good for them. And D supporters will be hoping he can continue that and sort of develop on this performance, because they've invested a lot in him, like in terms of the draft, like what they gave up to get him, and also what they got rid of because he's there. Like they essentially got rid of Hogan, right? So
I think he straight. It looks like he straightens them right up. Like he gives them a good target. I think he's probably more suited to that forward 50 role instead of roaming up like Hogan used to do. So they probably still need another tall. You can't go forward with just Wiedem as a tall. If McDonald come back in, I think they should. At the draft this year, so they should definitely target a key tall because they look like they need that. Like Hogan and Lever can't play forward. So they definitely need some more support because you wouldn't want Wiedemann playing one out for the next few years.
Yeah, I agree. And the third sort of in line, so the third key forward in line is Mitch Brown. So I don't think he's got many years left. And so we'll see how Wiedemann goes against a Frawley or a Frost, whoever he ends up against, because McDonald might not be there because of that eye injury. Do you want to talk a little bit about Rankin? I guess everyone is.
That's why I came onto the pod today.
Whole episode should be on Isaac Rankin.
So I reckon we've talked about him twice on the pod this season, and before he was even available for selection. So I think we've all looked forward. I think anyone that's watched the under-18 highlights, especially that game against Vic Metro, he pretty much won them the game in the first quarter against a pretty good Vic Metro outfit. Kicked 6. Inaccurate in that game, but some of his goals were just special. His highlights package, I think, is the best I've ever seen from a junior. I mean, you know more about the draft than me, but have you ever seen a junior with a better highlights package than Rankin in your 10+ years of?
10 plus.
More exciting package, I should say. More exciting.
I liked Steel Sidebottom had a pretty decent package when he was coming through, but in terms of like natural ability and goal now, like he's almost second to none really. He's a bit like a Cyril Rioli, but he's got I think he can play more midfield and he's probably a bit more agile than Cyril, so that's pretty scary.
I think the hope is that his body stays fit, and I think definitely he's one of those players. It's a bit like I guess Martin or Heaney. You want most of their touches coming forward of centre because 3 goals, only touched the ball 12 times. Like you'd rather him doing that than getting 20 possessions and have a kicking 1 goal. But I think those first 3 goals are some of the best you'll see. Not sure if you saw David King. So they brought back to the review of the draft and they kind of analysed him a bit where before he snaps the ball, he kind of angles the ball in his hands like so he can just snap it straight away. Like he does it in like a split second.
Okay.
I think it was a Michael Ablett. I think he's one of the draft experts, and he was like saying he's never seen that at all before. Most talented junior he's ever seen. So hopefully, he continues to keep fit. I think that's what we want because I think any football spectator wants to see him 10+ years.
Yeah. Isaac Rankin, and he's got a good name, very marketable.
Yeah.
They need to give him a nickname, so maybe we'll try to come up with one on the podcast. So he had 12 touches, 8 of them were contested. So that's pretty. Kicked 3 goals, 3. So he could have had like 5. Could have had a bag.
It's value for money, isn't it?
Yeah. Now he'll be good for the Gold Coast. Hopefully he can stay there.
And the Gold Coast to get their first primetime game in round 8 as well, which got announced yesterday, I think it was.
Yeah, against Essen. No.
It's a Friday night game, isn't it?
Thursday night.
Thursday night, okay. Well, they got a prime time at least. Just played well deserved. I think they're probably the most exciting team in the comp, apart from maybe the Lions or Collingwood.
Yeah. So, it's against the Bulldogs. So, I think given the Bulldogs lost, and Sam Metricon, so I think Suns should start. They should be competitive at least, even if they don't get the win. But I think guys like Bose and Swallow, Ainsworth, they need to stand up. after Raul went down. So you can't rely on Raul to like carry the team.
Yeah.
I'd be looking for more improved performances and a couple more wins.
And how'd Ben King go?
Yeah, he looked good. The King boys look pretty good when they get near it. They look like taking a mark. So, King had 6 marks, but he did miss a couple of gettable shots. So one goal too. I think Max was a bit more inaccurate. So
yeah.
Still, Max is favorite for the Rising Star now.
Oh, is he?
Rankin second, yeah.
Yeah, well, he's hoping Rankin. I mean, you can't go wrong with either of them.
What does he have to do? How many games does Rankin need to play to win the Rising Star?
What is there? 11 matches left?
Yeah. Yeah,
11. If he plays 12, if he plays 12 out of 17, anywhere near what he did on the weekend, then you'd probably say him, because I don't think Max King's dominated a game so far.
No, he's not nominated yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you'd need, if Max King kicks like a few bags, then you'd probably say him because he's played more games. But I'd still back Rankin hopefully, and hopefully he does win. It means he's played a full year, or from round 6 onwards at least. Yeah,
I'd like to see. Yeah, I'd like to see a Kangaroo player. Like if Curtis Taylor's probably our best shot. He's been nominated, but if not, I'd like to see Rankin win it this year and Raul win it next year.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some hot topics. Do you want to talk a bit about the coaches criticizing each other?
Yeah, so it's a bit interesting because they normally have each other's backs, and we've had Beveridge accusing the AFL of caving into Clarko about the holding the ball, which we kind of said the last couple of weeks, and then Dimmer, criticising John Longmuir and saying he wasn't attacking at all, and I think Longmuir's had a crack back, and Dimmer's apologised I think that night, but Longmuir says it's out there now, so you can't reverse it. So it's really interesting. It gives us, I guess, the rest of the media a lot to talk about for a few days. But I found that really interesting because you don't normally see that from coaches. They normally have each other's backs, and normally the coaches versus the AFL, whereas it's coaches versus coaches this weekend.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Longmuir's fault. Like, Richmond, they've been involved in a couple of ugly games.
Yeah.
So the way they're moving the ball, the conditions. I don't know, the players not being as motivated. Maybe because there's been a few sort of average games. But there's been a few exciting games as well. But I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on Longmuir's side. I mean, you look at the team they had. There's no Buddy, no Reid. There's no tall forwards. I mean, Heaney's the number one key forward, and he had a season-ending injury, unfortunately. So, you want to, from a coaching perspective, you want to do what Longmuir did, keep the team close, and try and win in the end. But I mean, Richmond, they had Mills back for pretty much the whole game, but Richmond didn't man him up. So whose fault is it? It's probably a combination of both, really. It's not really. You can't really say it's Horse's fault, surely.
Yeah. I don't know what Dimmer's thinking there.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you watch any of the Blues game? You want to talk a bit about Carlton?
Yeah, we can do for a small preview because they're playing Port this week. Did you watch much of that?
I watched a little bit of the game against the Bulldogs, and it was crazy. They smashed them, like the 50+ point win in the reduced season. They were really good. What do I have to say about that? And it wasn't the notable stars like Doherty, Cripps. Kernan was good, but it was their lesser likes. Like Matthew Kennedy came in for his first game and he did really well, 20 possessions and a few clearances. He looked good. Gibbons again continuing his good year. Satterfield and even Sam Walsh had a good game. He didn't polished by foot, but he had 10 contested possessions and good in there.
Yeah. How have you found Jack Martin this season? I think he's been really impressive. Especially the overhead marking too. Like you didn't see that much when he was at the Gold Coast, but
exactly. We saw glimpses at the Gold Coast, but I think now he's sort of more happy and he's playing consistent footy. So, like 5 marks, 5 tackles, 2 goals on the weekend, and he was probably one of the main reasons why they were so dominant. Do you reckon he's recruit of the year?
I probably would have said Hill after week 2 or 3, but I think Martin's probably been more consistent the whole year. So you probably have to give it to him.
Yeah, there's not many there weren't many big name moves in the off season. So Martin was probably the biggest, and they got him for free. So he's been really good. Another one about Carlton. I think Jacob Wittering, he was manned up on Shaki for most of it and kept him like 2 touches or something. Does he deserve to be in All Australian? I mean, he's in contention, but do you reckon he'll be in the team at this stage?
Yeah, I think at the moment he's probably, like, you can't say he's a lock, but at the moment I think he's well entrenched in the team, and he's kept Tom Lynch to a few touches. I think 1 goal maybe, or goalless. So he had a really good start to the year. I mean, Shaki's not a Tom Lynch, but yeah, he's had a great. He had definitely had a great start to the year, and he hasn't conceded many goals. So I'd probably say yes.
I'd disagree. I'd say he's in the conversation. I wouldn't have him in the team. I would have.
So who's he?
Harris. Is it Harris Andrews?
Harris Andrews. Yep. Okay.
Harris Andrews. Probably Darcy Moore as a 2 tools.
Okay.
And then maybe, I don't know, the third. I think Tarrant might be next in line, but I'd have Wittering maybe behind Tarrant because just because like a few years ago, at least when Hamish McIntosh or Todd Goldstein, one of the two, they had a dominant year, and they probably, if the selectors don't know the names and just know the stats, they would have been in the team. But because I was their breakout year, there was this thing going around saying, you need to have had a couple of good years to be selected. So there was a bit of that. You don't have the reputation, even though you did have an outstanding year. So I reckon this is Jacob Wittering sort of breakout. Yeah, so he'd have to have, like last year, he was nowhere near like All Australian or even, he wasn't even good. So, because of that, like pretty much because the North Melbourne Ruckman got, unfairly sort of overlooked 1 year. I'd want players to have at least the previous year to be a semi-decent year. Like Jai Simpkin, like last year, he started the year poorly, but he had a good sort of second half to the year, and now he's continued on that, and now he's in the top 5 midfielders at the moment. So like him, Neil, Boak, that would be like the top 3 probably. So, and that's statistically as well, like in Supercoach, like up there. So you'd need to have that sort of form in the previous year being contention.
I think, Jeremy Howe was probably a lock too until he went down. So there's definitely a few spots probably open.
Yeah, no Rance and Richmond average.
And Grimes wouldn't be in there this year. So there's definitely a few spots open. So what do you think about the suspension? I mean, Dylan Shields getting, I think, challenging his one at the moment. Do you think the 2-week suspension was fair?
Yeah, definitely. I think this is similar to Ben Lons. Like the player had the option not to bump and go for the ball, but Shields, he took his eyes off the ball and bumped Taylor. And regardless of what happens to his head, if he got concussion or not or whatever, it doesn't matter. It should be similar to the sling tackle rule. Like the action should be penalised, not the outcome. So 2 weeks, probably about right.
Did you see the Brad Ebert one?
No, I didn't. No.
That probably had the potential to cause more damage than Long or Shield, but he was just lucky that he didn't get Perryman in a worse position. So he got a week, which I thought was pretty lucky. I thought that was at least 2, even though Perryman got up and played the game. Like, you don't want that kind of action, and you kind of see on the replay, Ebert's put his hands up to his head, realising what he's done, I guess, before the players, his teammates started remonstrating with him. So I thought he was really lucky there to get one. Yeah,
it was a glancing one. Yeah, he came off the side and
came off the line, and I think kind of jumped as well. So he was very lucky.
Yeah. So we don't want to see those sort of attacks like 10 years ago it might have been okay, but not now.
And you'd kind of forecasted this last week, where there's a premiership favourite every week, and Lions were last week. Do you think they can be considered a flag threat, I guess, with their away form? Because their away form from the Gabbers, not great.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I didn't notice they were that bad. You said here that they're negative 45 points in third term.
Yeah.
Away.
Yeah.
Like premiership teams need to win away. Yeah, so you probably can't after looking at that. But it's a weird year, so anything can happen. But they'd be in the mix in the sort of 5 or 6 teams that can do it. But they need to improve winning away. They won't have to. They don't have to worry about it anytime soon, though.
Yeah, if the grand final's in Brisbane, then they're probably favourites again. So,
but they did lose like up there last year to Richmond.
They lost to Collingwood in the Friday night game last year at the Gabba, and they obviously lost the 2 finals in straight sets too. So there's probably going to be some questions about them until they actually win a final.
Yeah.
Current setup anyway under Fagan.
Yeah, that's fair enough too. I know you want to talk a bit about Hawthorn, but do you think the media, why are they having a go at Hawthorn? Like, we know they're in the position they're in. They've been up for ages, and they're allowed to have a bit of downtime, right?
Yeah, so I have a theory. So I think there's a blowtorch on a team every week. So last week it was Melbourne. This week it's Hawthorn. I mean, it could again be Hawthorn next week, but there's and look, I think the issue with Hawthorn's been there for 2 or 3 years now. It's not limited to last week. They got.
I think I'm just annoyed the blowtorch isn't on the Kangaroos. Like, why is it on a team that's won like 4 premierships in the last 12 years?
Yeah.
Like, it should be on Melbourne and Kangaroos and who else at the bottom of the line?
I think it would have been on the Roos after Saturday night, but the way the Hawks lost on Sunday, 29 points it was on Friday, but the way they lost 27 points, like the Roos didn't kick 27 points.
We could have won. Our game was sort of close.
Yeah. And you're not getting smashed as well. If you have a big loss, then you'd probably get the blowtorch. But I think just the way they're losing, I think that's the week before against GWS, they're 27 points, 29 points. They're just not kicking even half decent scores.
Yeah, but they did beat us, so we'll see what happens.
And Richmond too, and the Lions. So they've had some good wins, but their losses are just, probably the worst in the AFL at the moment. The worst team to watch probably as well.
I think, that's probably the main reason. But just the fact that talking about Hawthorn and Clarko just gets clicked. So whereas talk about Reece Shaw and Kangaroos, you're not going to get that. So hopefully, if we lose to Richmond this week, hopefully I want to be a bit more pressure and more pressure on the senior players that don't perform. We might preview the Port Blues game.
Yeah, so I'll just do a quick point. Obviously talked about the Blues. They're probably the hottest team in the comp at the moment. First time in the 8 for 7 years. So it's a long drought that they've broken at the moment. And the 4th team to actually kick 100+ points in this season, which is a big effort considering it's only 64 minutes of game time.
And considering they only did it once in like the past 5 years or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember last year they did it for the first time?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did it. Handful of times under Bolton's whole reign. So I thought, Port, that was a really impressive win on the weekend. Probably a win we needed to have.
That was impressive. Yeah, let me just talk a bit about Port. I reckon this win was really important. Like, if they had dropped this, the down skiers or the whatever that tag would have been put on them. But this was really showed a lot of character, and I don't know if it's a bit the Giants were poor or Port was so really good, but whatever it was, I think Port definitely cemented their credentials as one of the teams in the mix for a top 4 finish, and from there you could win the grand final. What did you make of it?
I thought we were on top. and we kind of had the run of the play the whole game. Third quarter, GWS got on top, and then Charlie Dixon kicked the goal right on the three-quarter time sign. I think from then on, even though GWS has started pretty well in the fourth quarter, I think Port pretty much ran away with the game. It probably opens up a few wounds for the Giants because they just lose. It's every year pretty much. They just lose games which they should win and which their list dictates they should win too. Like there's just no way a team as talented as GWS should be 3-3 when they've had, I think, every game in Sydney apart from probably this one, and the Bulldogs game too. So 4 out of 6 in Sydney. You should be doing better than 3-3.
Yeah, and they've been fit. It's not like they've had any long-term injuries to.
It's just Toronto.
It's only been Toronto. Yeah,
exactly.
No excuses really. I know they've had a couple of players drop out like Kelly and Green, but they needed to show more than they did. It was a tight game, so they weren't horrible, but I think Port were really good, and Travis Stokes having another All-Australian standard year. Did you know Kane Farrell could kick so far?
I know because I watch Port, so I know he's got some tricks. He's kind of been in and out of the team because of his contested ball and defensive work. Because his skill's always been really good. He kicked 3, I think, in a quarter in the showdown a couple of years ago. His skill level's always been really good. I was surprised because I think he won't get that again. He won't get a free run at a 62-metre goal this week. They'll man him up. I think they'll probably manning up Trent McKenzie just because we know about him. But, it was a great kick anyway. And he nearly kicked one in the third quarter as well from the boundary as well. So, great ball use. Yeah,
okay. So we'll try to wrap this up in a couple of minutes. But I'm interested, who's going to man up on Betts and Martin? Because they're forming quite a good duo.
Yeah, that's probably a tricky one. I think Burton and Darcy Byrne-Jones, but Betts always has the wood on Port, so I wouldn't be surprised if he kicks a few. And I think Cripps will have a big game too because he's had a couple of quiet weeks and you don't see that from Cripps. And there's no obvious matchup with Ebert out as well. So still think Port will win, but I think it'll be a closer game than people think.
Yeah, this is a good last game to have at Metricon or wherever it is. Gabba. Because Port can win this. They go to home, top of the ladder, and then you'd look potentially a top 2 finish. So.
Yeah, and you've got to keep Rockcliffe out too because Sam Papapa had the best game of his probably in a couple of years.
Yeah, Papapa was really good. I watched him in that game. He was hard at it, and he was.
It's a goal to win fourth. Yeah.
So, if he's playing that Rockcliffe role, then Rockcliffe is emergency number 1. So.
Yeah.
So I'll probably tip Port. Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, you can't tip against their form at the moment, but Blues are a little bit hot and cold. If the Blues depends which Blues turn up really, but have a bit more trust in Port. They'll be able to contain the Blues forward line and put guys like Plowman and Jones under pressure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, got some height down there for sure.
Yeah. All right, any final words?
I think you're wishing for your team to get the blowtorch next week, so that's probably not good signs.
Quickly on the Roos. We'll play Richmond on Saturday night, so expect another sloppy game because it's pretty dewy down up at Gold Coast.
Yeah,
So both teams, so they're missing 5 or 6 of their best 22 players. I know the Richmond players are a lot more experienced and better players, but I think it'll be relatively even. But I think Tigers should win.
And Ben Brown's surely due though, because he's got about 10 centimetres on Grimes or Boston or so Tigers got down back.
But he's not going to mark any if the Kangaroos just keep bombing it in and not hitting up the lead because he's not a pack mark. He's a hitter. We can't kick it properly, so that's not happening. All right, cool. Well, hopefully this recording is clear.
Yeah,
apologies if it's not.
We'll wrap it up.
All right. Thanks for listening.
See you guys next week.